us about this lawsuit. What is the underlying principle? What are you fighting for here?
The underlying principle is the provisions of the Fair Labor Standards Act, which requires an employer to pay workers when they perform work. It's pretty simple.
Basic, yeah.
I mean, that's the law that includes the minimum wage. And the minimum wage isn't zero, which is the way the government is currently acting. It's requiring more than half of the people who are affected by the shutdown to come to work, often work overtime, and without any guarantee of pay. So it's a violation of even a minimum wage law.
Do you think that there's a high likelihood that this lawsuit will prevail? It seems to most folks, they hear that federal government workers aren't getting paid, so there's going to be this lawsuit against the federal government. I mean, doesn't the federal government kind of set the tone and standard here for what actually is acceptable and not acceptable for federal employees?
Well, I guess we hang on to the notion that we're still a nation of law and that the federal government is not above the law, and they can't require people to work without paying them for it.
Will they be paid? Will they receive back pay though? Is that usually how this goes in the past with shutdowns?
It goes that way it has gone that way in the past, but it requires an act of Congress to pay people for the work that they've already performed. It's not automatic. And the federal government needs to adhere to the law. So if Congress does not pass legislation to pay these people who have already performed services for the government, then certainly the Fair Labor Standards Act would come into play.